thoughtful. I want to tell you about the last fare I ever accepted on the app. Not the last one I drove, the last one I accepted. There's a difference, and by the time I'm done, you'll understand why that distinction matters more than anything else in this story. I'd been driving nights for about 8 months. Rent's expensive, sleep is optional, you know how it goes. Most nights are boring in the specific way that makes you grateful. Drunk college kids, airport runs, the occasional silent commuter staring at their phone the whole ride. Boring is good. Boring means you get to go home. The address showed up for the first time on a Tuesday, 2:17 a.m., 412 Hollow Bend Lane, requesting a pickup. I didn't think anything of it. I drove out, 20 minutes past the edge of town, past where the streetlights stop being consistent and start being suggestions. And when I pulled up to 412 Hollow Bend Lane, there was no house. Slowly, I don't mean an empty lot. I mean there was a house-shaped absence. A foundation, cracked and sunken with weeds growing up through it in patterns too even to be random, and a chimney standing alone with nothing around it, like a tombstone for a building that used to breathe. I cancelled the ride. App gave me a small penalty for that, which felt insulting, honestly, like it wanted me to know it disapproved. I didn't think about it again until the next Tuesday, 2:17 a.m., same address, same request. Curious. Now, look, I want to be upfront about something, because I think it matters for you to know this about me. I am not a curious person by nature. Curiosity has never once done anything for me except cost me money or sleep. But there is a specific kind of question that gets under your skin when it repeats itself on a schedule. And why does a demolished house keep requesting rides at 2:17 in the morning is exactly that kind of question. I asked around. Other drivers on the local forums, the ones who'd been doing this longer than me, most of them just shrugged it off. Ghost pickups, phantom requests, app glitches. That's just how rideshare software is sometimes, half broken and stitched together with duct tape. But one guy, an older driver who went by Route 61 online, sent me a message that I still have saved. He said, "Don't go back a third time. First time's an accident, second time's a coincidence, third time it knows your name." Appalled, I want to tell you I took that seriously. I didn't. I want to tell you I stayed away from Hollow Bend Lane after that. I didn't do that either. 3 weeks later, different night, no pattern to it this time, no 2:17 a.m., just an ordinary 10:40 request. The address came up again. 412 Hollow Bend Lane, and this time when I pulled up, there was a passenger standing at the curb. Whispers. I want you to sit with that for a second, the way I had to sit with it in my car, alone, engine running, hands not quite steady on the wheel. A house that does not exist. A foundation with grass growing through the cracks. And a man standing exactly where the front door would have been, waiting for his ride. Like this was the most ordinary Tuesday, or Thursday, whatever it was, what in the world. He was maybe 50, grey cardigan, the kind your grandfather owns, hands folded in front of him. And he smiled at me. Not a threatening smile, that's the part that still gets me. It was a polite, almost embarrassed smile. The smile of a man who's kept someone waiting and knows it. I should have driven away. I want to be completely honest. I thought about it. My foot was actually on the brake and the gear was in drive, and every rational piece of information available to me was screaming to just go, just leave, just report the ride as a no-show and get back on the highway toward the lit-up, ordinary part of town. I unlocked the doors instead. Thoughtful. I've asked myself why so many times since. I think the answer is something like this. When something impossible is standing right in front of you, being polite about it feels like the only reasonable response. Fear didn't feel like the right reaction. It felt too big for the moment, like laughing at a funeral. Technically an option, but wildly, embarrassingly wrong. He got in the back seat, said good evening, very formally, like a man from an older decade, gave me an address downtown, a real one, an actual building I recognized, a 24-hour diner I'd dropped people at 100 times. We drove, and for the first several minutes, I want to tell you, it was almost normal. He didn't smell wrong. He didn't flicker or distort or do any of the things you'd expect from something summoned out of a rideshare glitch at a dead house. He just sat there, hands folded the same way, looking out the window at a town he clearly hadn't seen move past him in a very long time. Curious. Then he spoke, very quietly. He said, "Do you know, I used to drive people myself, a long time ago, before all this." I asked him what he meant by all this, gesturing vaguely at the phone mounted on my dash, the app glowing with the little car icon crawling along the map. He said, "Before I stopped being someone who needed a ride." Slowly, I didn't understand what that meant. Not then. I laughed a little, nervous, the way you do when someone says something a bit too strange to just let sit in silence. And I asked what happened to his house back on Hollow Bend Lane, because I'd seen it. I'd seen the foundation, the chimney, standing over nothing. He didn't answer right away. He looked at me in the rearview mirror. And here's the thing. Here's the detail I have never been able to explain to anyone who's asked, including myself, lying awake at 4 in the morning turning it over. His eyes in that mirror did not match the angle of his head. His head was turned toward the window. His eyes were on me, direct, unmoving, from a face that was facing somewhere else entirely. Frustrated sigh, yea. I gripped the wheel so hard my knuckles went white. I did not stop the car. I don't know why. I think some animal part of my brain had decided that stopping was more dangerous than continuing, that whatever was riding in my back seat wanted, more than anything, to reach its destination, and the safest thing I could possibly do was help it get there as quickly and quietly as I could. He said, very softly, "The house burned in 1981. I was inside. I have been trying to get to the diner ever since. I have very good manners and very bad luck, and drivers keep cancelling on me before we arrive." Whispers, I asked him. I don't know where I found the nerve, but I asked him, "What happens if we do arrive? What happens if I actually get him there?" He smiled, that same polite, embarrassed smile. "Then I finally stop having to ask again," he said. "And you get to stop seeing my address on your screen at 2:17 in the morning." Thoughtful. I want to tell you, I thought hard about whether that was a threat or a mercy. I still don't know. I drove the rest of the way in silence, both of us watching the road, his reflection in my mirror politely, patiently wrong. We pulled up outside the diner, lights on inside, a couple of night shift regulars visible through the window, completely unaware of what had just parked outside. I put the car in park. I turned around to tell him we'd arrived. The back seat was empty. Surprised, not empty like he'd slipped out quietly. I would have heard the door, felt the weight lift, seen movement in my mirror. Empty like he had simply stopped being information the universe was still bothering to render. The seatbelt was still buckled. That's the detail that undid me more than anything else that whole night. The seatbelt still fastened around absolutely nothing at all. Exhales sharply. My phone buzzed. Ride complete. Please rate your passenger. I gave him 5 stars. I don't know why. It felt like the only thing left to do that made any sense. The last polite gesture in an entirely impolite universe. Dramatic tone. I never got another request from 412 Hollow Bend Lane. I checked, obsessively, for months afterward. Refreshing, waiting, half hoping and half dreading that 2:17 a.m. would bring him back one more time. It never did. Thoughtful Root messaged me once more a few weeks later. Just 3 words. "You completed it." I asked him what that meant. He never answered. His account went inactive not long after that, and when I looked him up, there was no trace of a driver by that name ever having worked for the company at all. Slowly, I still drive nights. Rent doesn't pay itself. But I check every single address now before I pull up, every single one, because I learned something out on Hollow Bend Lane that I don't think I can ever unlearn. Whispers. Some fares aren't asking you for a ride. They're asking you to finally let them finish one. And if an address ever comes up that doesn't feel right, you should probably just go ahead and cancel. Thoughtful. I always wonder now what the penalty actually is. For the ones who don't,